As I've settled into making videos for this channel, I've noticed patterns. If I'm not reviewing current things, like trailers or movies or TV shows, I'm generally interested in talking about things I love from the past. Sometimes that's a review of an old movie I love, or you may see it when I talk about a modern situation and I compare it to an older one. I wouldn't go so far as to call it nostalgia bait, but I definitely enjoy reminiscing about the past. One of the things I've found myself thinking a lot about lately is how I miss when actors just acted in movies and TV shows, and then shut the hell up. What about you? Over the past few years, and at this point it's getting harder to pin down exactly when this started, but there's been a trend to blame fans for bringing their politics to the movie theater. This is completely ass backwards, and I'm sure it's being said not just because the people saying it are misinformed, but because it's a great rhetorical tactic. You just blame the other side for what you're doing. But go back a few decades. Think 50s, 60s, and 70s. There was kind of a truce between actors and the audience. The actor's job was to act in movies and TV shows. They'd have PR staff who would be responsible for crafting a public image that would offend the fewest people possible, and then they'd do the occasional 7 minutes on Johnny Carson's couch, where they'd be all charming enough to make you want to spend money on their next project. Maybe there'd be an article in a magazine you'd see while you're at the dentist. But basically, unless there was some high-profile scandal, actors were generally thought of well because their bosses ultimately were the paying customers who would decide to go or not go to their movies based on how much you liked them. And the audience's job was to watch all of this and then spend money going to their movies or TV shows. Actors were well paid and adored, and fans could enjoy some entertainment between doing real jobs that actually matter. It was a nice little symbiotic relationship we had. Occasionally, there would be an actor that didn't like this and felt the need to speak up about their political views. So be it. But the result for those actors was that as fans learned about their views, those that felt differently from them had to make a choice. Do I ignore this actor's political views, which run counter to my own, or do I decide to no longer pay to see their movies or watch their TV shows? Now keep in mind, fans were put into this position by the actors first breaking this covenant that always had in place with fans. Fans weren't demanding that the unknown views of actors be known first before they'd pay to see them perform. Fans were made to react. They were counterpunching, so to speak. Even so, most fans just ignored these actors' views and kept watching their movies and TV shows if they found the actor entertaining. You'd hear stuff like, well, I can separate a person's political views from their job performance. This was seen as enlightened, and I'll admit it's the way I mostly acted. The actor may have lost some fans, but most stuck around if they were seen as talented enough. So even at this point, there was an equilibrium reached where a handful of the most talented actors could be outspoken and not be docked too badly. And then social media happened. Celebrities, whose entire existence is about getting people to pay attention to them, suddenly had a means by which they could potentially have millions of fans hanging on their every thought and receive, in real time, adulation for being so awesome. For actors, this meant sitting back and absorbing praise rather than having to go out and seek it. And for fans, you didn't need to send a letter to some actor's talent agency or network in the hopes that the fan mail would reach them. You could send them a note directly and instantly it could show up on their phone, just like yours, and they could be reading your thoughts. And they could respond. And the dopamine ran like wine between both groups. I think with the advent of social media and ultimately cancel culture, we've seen the hive mentality of the entertainment industry on full display. Sure, some may have strongly held beliefs, but most just seem to be going along to get along and to save their careers. The thing about being totally accessible is that now people have an expectation that you have to have an opinion on everything, whether it's anywhere remotely near your lane or not.
I just felt weird how it organized my brain. Like if something happened in the world, I would say, oh, do I have to post about this? I think it's very dangerous to think, oh, something just happened in the world. I am an entitled person whose voice must be heard on this issue. And I just think that is such a narcissistic viewpoint that we're all a part of. Like it made us all like live in this weird narcissistic cycle.
Oh, you're an actor on some shitty CW show? Cool. What are your thoughts on geopolitical issues like the war in Ukraine? Or your views on the best way to address a global pandemic? Or human rights issues in a place you 100% couldn't spell, let alone find on a map? Silence is violence, champ, so you'd better have something to say, and those thoughts better be in line with everyone else's, or else. Which brings us back to my original point. What used to be the occasional outlier actor that felt the need to step outside the agreement that always had with fans and be a political activist is now nearly all of them, doing it practically 24 hours a day. And not just actors, but directors, producers, entire studios. As fans, this has become entirely unavoidable. And because of the heated nature of modern politics, it's not just the old adage of agreeing to disagree with anyone. Entertainers will openly tell you that if you disagree with them, they don't want you to go to their movies. You, like them, must fall in line. In addition to continue to pay them for their services, you must also agree with them politically. But what if you do disagree? What if, I don't know, you actually take it personally when an actor who doesn't know you at all goes out of their way to insult you as part of some group they hate, or uses their oversized power from their celebrity to hurt you politically? What if you dare suggest that because of those actions, you'll no longer support them? What if you just say no?
Unacceptable! Unacceptable!
Nah, that's not okay. You do have a few options, though. You can agree and pay them. You can agree and not pay them, but support them on social media, which is hilarious to me, but that seems to be okay too. Hell, they'll even accept quietly disagreeing with them, but continuing to support them financially by going to see their movies and TV shows. What you absolutely positively cannot do is dare speak out loudly in response to their political activism and also not go and see their crap. And don't even get me started about how intolerable it is if you speak out on forums like this and suggest others do the same. So as you watch actors and studios lash out at fans who are just responding to the activism those same actors and studios are putting out as entertainment now, keep this in mind. Fans did not start this. Entertainers did. For the majority of the time movies and TV shows were made, we didn't have this situation because, as Michael Jordan once famously said, Republicans buy shoes too. Entertainers understood that their job was ultimately to be appealing to the largest audience possible, and the best way to do that was to remain uncontroversial. Anyone remember the old saying about never bringing up religion, politics, and money? Well, that's been thrown right out of the damn window. The entertainment industry has become cravenly political. Then they dare to have the audacity to suggest it's the fans' fault for bringing their politics to the movies or TV, as if fans don't have the right to hold views of their own. And even though anyone who'd likely make this accusation has already stopped watching to start banging on the keyboard in the comments section by now, I'm happy to say that I'd like those entertainers with whom I agree to also shut the hell up. I find it funny when they reply to the masses, and given there are so few of them, it's nice to see they exist, but all things being equal, I was happier not knowing any of this.
Ignorance is bliss.
I think the best term to describe Hollywood at this point is cry bullies. Well, they'll whine about how mean you are after having already smacked you around. Stop tolerating this behavior. When a studio or actor does something overtly political and you see it with your own eyes, don't be gaslit into thinking you didn't see or hear what you did. You, like them, have every right to decide if their actions deserve a response from you. How you react is entirely up to you. Don't allow them to guilt you into feeling as though you have to agree with them or have to continue to pay to see their crap, or else you're a racist, a sexist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, xenophobe, hell, arachnophobe, whatever. Remember, you didn't start this. They did. So grow up and act accordingly. Or, I don't know, don't. I'm not the boss of you.